Legacy project of Mr. President, particularly on road infrastructure, where the Ibadan, Southwest Sokoto road, and then the Lagos Calabar coastal road, and the road turns back to east. And then the former president was able to construct, awarded the contract for the dualization of Kefe Akwanga to Lafia, Makodi down. There is a motion of urgent public importance. The legacy projects are there, but probably people of North Central and North East are not part of the legacy project. I move that motion. Senator Goje moved the same motion. And in your motion, you have prayers. And the prayers are communicated to relevant agencies. And the executive are able to include the legacy project to extend from Akwanga to northeast, in fact up to Maiduguri now. So what am I trying to say? Our motions of urgent public importance are feelings of the people you hear. You don't shout on what you do. Insecurity and so on and so forth. So it will not be totally correct to say that representatives do not listen or hear or speak the mind of their constituents. You may not speak all. We may not, the frequency of meeting our people may not be equal, but it will not be right to say that probably we speak from a bedroom. Secondly, Madam spoke about the issue of inclusiveness. I would like to add to her, the intention is not just for women, it's not just for the younger ones, but it's even for people who have physical disabilities. I know what is in line, but I also tell you, I also know the feelings of the executive. I had an opportunity of interacting with the wife of Mr. President, who has met us in various fora with this desire. I've attended a conference of parliaments in Kigali. I have an idea of the content, composition of representation in Rwanda, where specifications are met for female, for youths, and even for academia. I want to tell you that the feelings of the National Assembly is robust. With what we hear from some other smaller countries in Africa, I want to assure you that the feelings of the National Assembly is robust. It might not come up in the next election, but I assure you that the constitutional amendment has it.
But why is it taking too long?
Why
is it taking too long?
Constitutional amendment is a longer process compared to bills and more bills at the National Assembly. Constitutional amendment, it has a longer legislative procedure. I assure you that even when you do it at that level, it gets back to states. And even at the state level, you need to start of the states. So I want to, if we're on it, I pray that if God decides to allow Mr. President to have another second tenure, I think that period should be enough for us to repeal, amend the 1999 Constitution as amended, and ensure that some of these changes are done at the constitutional.
I ask this question because women constitute and youth constitute like 75% of the electorate.
Yeah.
Then why is it not possible to fast track? Because a lot of listen, the 11th National Assembly is going to look almost empty of women. Most women didn't get their primaries; they didn't get it. Okay. So we're seeing less women in the National Assembly, and in the northern part of Nigeria, exactly, absolutely zero women in the state assemblies. So why can't it be fast-tracked in such a way that inclusivity will be part of the amendments to the Constitution? This started before this administration, and it's still pending. I begin to wonder, are women being considered to be in office, or are they just considered to line up during elections and just vote you people into office?
There was something, is it
yes,
Madam?
I'm speaking on her concern.
Yeah, there's something Madam said, my dear brother from Zoom, about the way other bills are fast-tracked or are done very fastly. There's no year, you can't run a year without a budget. Budgetary bills are executive bills that come to us. Loans are part of the budget. In your budget, you have provisions for, you have where you have revenue, and then you have space for loans, and the loans come in. And the loans come with title. Somebody is saying that even when we're borrowing the loan, we don't tell Nigerians what the loans are for. When letters or communications are brought to National Assembly on the issue of loan, it comes with title. It comes with purpose. So if, as you read the bill, the purpose for the loan are there. And then in the yearly budget, there's already a provision for loans and other sources of funding the budget. And then the budget is within a year. And therefore, issues that have to do with budget, they are time-bound. So it's not as if probably when it comes to law, nobody searches. They are part of the yearly budgetary allocations.
All right, Senator, because we're almost running out of time, I'd like us to go back to the infrastructure thing you talked about earlier. You talked about, members of the National Assembly consulting with your people. Let's speak about constituency projects, which is, also raising concern in many quarters. Speak to us. Do constituency projects actually speak the mind of the people, or are they just meant for political patronage these days? I'm asking because a lot of communities still lack basic amenities. For example, you're from Plateau. At the moment, Plateau is battling a cholera outbreak. Over 5 people have died. That's just provision of potable water. So what exactly are these constituency projects for? And if you say that you speak the mind of the constituents, why do we still see many communities lacking the basics? The basics, I mean, simple things that, can sustain their lives.
You would also know that our basic needs may not be met at the moment. You run a family. There are basic needs for your home. You may not be able to provide all at-time tea, but that does not mean that you don't love your children. That does not mean that you don't love your dependents, but you try as much as possible to provide according to what your purse can afford. Every senator has a provision for 2 billion naira allocation in the budget. And the 2 billion you would put in that year, and the House of Reps 1 billion. The 2 billion you will put as capital project in the budget has to do with what you think or you discuss and you know that your people need. Now, if you have 2 billion, how do you scatter 2 billion? I have 2 billion. How do you scatter 2 billion? Maybe area of education, area of health, water provision. It can't go wrong. And again, if all of us are enlightened, you also know that in the 2025 budget, the capital release are low. Even if you are part of the management of NTA, you may find out that your capital provision are not funded.
Why is that? Has the National Assembly, sought to investigate that?
Yeah, we do. It's just like you plan for the family. You would wish to go on a vacation. By the end of the day, maybe you are unable to have sufficient funds to go for the vacation of your family. You may not be able to provide. Budgets typically are estimates, things you wish that you would get resources, and when you get resources, the way.
But you just talked about loans, and you talked about how speedy you pass the bills for loans.
Madam, the source of funding of loan of budget is not only loan. Internet generated funds too are part of it, and you estimate. You have an idea we'll be able to raise this internally. For Nigerians' budget, about almost 40 or 50 or 60% of the budget are from internet generated source. The loan is about maybe 25 or so.
If you say internally generated sources,
yeah.
so far,
yeah.
The allocation to states has increased.
Yeah.
So which means that we're generating more.
Local governments have autonomy now.
Even if you have more, you still estimate on how what you have will be spent. Number one, let's imagine that you have an idea. Last year, internet generated fund maybe about 2 trillion or 5 trillion. You want to imagine that, okay, last year we were able to get 2 trillion or 5 trillion or 10 trillion. Next year we'll work harder and make 15 trillion. You may not end up getting the 15 trillion. It's proposal. I get one, it's proposal. You are into business, you have a shop. For your shop, last year you were able to get 10 million from your shop. You want to work harder and imagine this year I'll get 20 million. You may not get the 20 million, but it makes you to work harder towards a target. So what am I trying to say? Proposal of what would come in for a budget. You may get over, you may not get up to, you may get exact. It is a proposal, man.
It's a proposal, and I like the fact that Abdulaziz talked about constituency projects.
Yeah.
Before we go on break, I'd like you to respond. He talked about developed constituency, some of them are just halfway done and it's not done properly. So, could these projects, are they delivering value for money through your oversight?
Yeah.
Because oversights, have sort of, dug up some inconsistency, corruption and all that. So what is the National Assembly doing in oversight function to ensure that this project, done with the people's money, is delivering dividends of democracy to the people, and people can use roads, tap water, electricity and everything and enjoy it?
Yeah.
So how are you doing the check and balances?
Ma'am, the policy of providing consensus project for members of the legislative arm of government, for me, it didn't start at our time, but it is one of the wisest things, suggestions met. You know that there is every part of the country is represented by a senator, a House of Reps, and a consensus House Assembly. If in the process of budget allocation, you may find the federal budget undergoing the states without touching the entire states. But if you allow a provision for consensus project to be allocated to representatives, it now means that in that year's capital project, every consensus will have one or two things to show. So for me, it is in the interest of those who are representing, because at the end of the day, you will have something to show that you were able to bring this into the people. It's very inclusive. But as I said it again, I have some of the projects, if you watch, most contractors were demonstrating because jobs given to them were not funded. Why do they come to the National Assembly to demonstrate? Because most of the jobs are consensus projects, but not funded. If they are funded and the jobs are not completed, you now hold the man who brought the consensus project to you. But if they are, if you provide jobs, you provide boreholes, you provide construction of classrooms, and is awarded to a contractor, and the contractor started the job and not paid, it's not. That's where it is, man. So it is to our delight that our consensus projects are executed to completion, because that is what we will see and will be happy even when we end our tenure.
All right, many thanks, distinguished Senator Plank. We need to take a break now. When we come back, we'll get to the comments and if there are questions that we have from our viewers, please stay with us.
Out you come.
With the shortage of brand new aircraft delivery across the world, Emirates decided to go it alone and refurbish over 200 of our existing planes at our own engineering facility. This makes it the largest retrofit program on the planet. For our customers, it means even greater consistency of a world-class product.
Once upon a time, there was a land plagued by blandness. Food had lost its flavor and there was nothing left to savor. Just then, the tastemaker arrives to restore taste to this land of blandness. All she did was sprinkle, stir, and serve. And from that day on, they knew one truth. All they needed is sprinkle, stir, serve.
Tastemaker. Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
Cube, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Do you believe in Nigeria? Oh, yes, I believe. Do you believe in our greatness? Oh, yes, I believe. Do you believe in our unity? Do you believe we can fight corruption? Oh, yes, I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in Nigeria. Oh, yes, I believe. Do you believe in our local food? Oh, yes, I believe. Do you believe in Made Nigeria good? Oh, yes, I believe. Do you believe in our Naira and Kaba? Do you believe we can succeed? Oh, yes, I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in Nigeria. Oh, yes, I believe.
Let's believe in ourselves. Let's have the right attitude. We've got all it takes to get there. Let's look inwards and revive all our infrastructures and galvanize our human and material resources.
I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in Nigeria. Oh, yes, I believe.
Nigerians, believe in yourselves. Believe we can succeed.
Nigeria, believe. Powered by National Orientation Agency.
For rejoining us, and if you're just joining us, we've been discussing the 10th National Assembly and the third year of this present National Assembly, and our guests are still seated in the studio. But Nigerians are contributing to this conversation. Let me take some of them while my colleague will take some, and then we'll return to Faith Nwadishi and Abdul Aziz to respond to some of while the Senator does the same. Let me begin with Reverend Law Alpha Cross from Aba, Nigeria. He said, the cordial relationship between this 10th Senate and the executive arm is unprecedented and germane for socio-economic and political growth and development of the nation. However, granted that the executive needs to borrow to improve upon infrastructure across the country, the swiftness with which this 10th Senate accepts and approves some is worrisome, more so when there are no adequate oversight functions to ascertain how the funds are deployed. And Daud Njuma from Gombe said, good morning, presenters. My question goes to Senator. What are you doing about the minimum wage for Nigerian workers and their promotion arrears, wage award, etc.? That's from Daud Njuma from Gombe. And Alhaji Garko Karo, site Abuja, said, good morning, presenters and your guests in the studio. Concerning the third anniversary of the 10th National Assembly in Nigeria, my question is, what is the National Assembly planning to do differently concerning the insecurity going on in Nigeria? And another one, Onekpe from Festac Town in Lagos, said, there is once again a poor understanding of the role of the National Assembly. The National Assembly does not have the responsibility to monitor liaison between legislatures and their constituents. As long as constituents remain docile, fail to do their bit, but rather sit cross-legged to criticize the National Assembly for not pursuing legislatures to report to their constituency, then wahala dey. Let's not encourage docility and lukewarmness to governance amongst Nigerians. Constituents know the offices of their legislatures. They should go there to seek, they normally go there to seek favors instead of pursuit of accountability. And Okafor Celestine Esquire said, as the 10th National Assembly marks its 3rd anniversary, it should shift greater attention to tackling unemployment, insecurity, inflation, and the high cost of living. Nigerians need a legislature that is proactive, independent, and committed to passing laws that directly improve the lives of ordinary Nigerians. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and may Mr. President administration succeed in its effort to build a better nation. Ms. Faith, can you respond to some of them before Yenri?
Okay, I agree with the person who wrote about the docility of the members of the particular constituency. And that's because a lot of people don't really understand the role that the national or legislator should play. It is not the place of the legislator to bring you pipe-borne water. It is the place of your legislator to ensure that if you need pipe-borne water in your place, during the discussions for budget, he should have discussed that and put it in that budget when they are doing that. It is also the place of the legislator to do a needs assessment of his of our constituency and prioritize those needs, so that when you have an opportunity to put that in the budget, you are able to do that. And sometimes you also have the influence. So it is not, it is about constituents being able to hold their legislators accountable for pushing or supporting bills or laws on the floor of the House that impact on them, and not holding a legislator accountable because he has not given you keke or bike that you will use. It is not the duty of the legislator. So we should actually be able to, and it is also the responsibility of the legislator to educate their constituents, to say, this is what we should do, this is how we should go about it. So if you stay within 1 quarter and you don't have your legislators, and by the way, distinguished, when we are talking about, we're not generalizing, we know that some of you are doing well, but the majority are not. That is the point that we're making here. The majority are not. Those 1,000-something bills that you have talked about, by the time you take the census of the 109 members of the Senate, you will find out that you have less than 50 members of the Senate who have pushed for those bills to be passed on the floor. So some are not doing very well. But it's also important that citizens understand that it is their responsibility to hold people accountable. You don't wait because it is my brother, my sister that is doing something. At the end of the day, it doesn't help. And then maybe finally to also address the issue of constituents not going. Some really don't have constituency offices. Some don't have constituency. They don't even have staff. Apart from 1 or 2 aides that they have at the national, they don't have staff, because as a legislator, you should have an aide representing each of your constituency. So if you're a senator and you're representing a senatorial district that may have like 6, 7 local government areas, you should have 6, 7 aides that will be hands-on with those people, bringing you information, so that when you do those motions, for instance, how many emergency motions have been put on the floor? For 109 senators that are covering the entire geopolitical zones that you have in Nigeria, how many of them? People are crying. It's even worse at the state assemblies.
Including the House of Assembly representatives too.
It's worse at the state assemblies. People are members of committees that they have never attended committee meetings, and nobody is saying that. So it is important. Like when the person is saying, "Oh, you shouldn't get the Senate to put a tab on people," there should be a way to find out the way that senators or House of Reps or even at the State Assembly, how they are performing, because the performance of every individual is what plays out on the entire structure. So if people are not performing and people are complaining, if somebody may have access to 1 senator, and that person will use that 1 senator to generalize the entire Senate. So it's important important that you do that. For instance, if you go to the National Assemblies, how many of them have needs assessment that have done for their constituencies to say these are the reasons why we are pushing for these priorities for our people? You go to a place, you see, maybe you have development agencies, they have put borehole in a particular community. Because you have a constituency fund, you go and put a borehole. The one that the development partner has put with maybe 100 naira, and the one you have put there with 5,000 naira is not working. Meanwhile, the one with 100 naira is working, and nobody gives account of that. And that's the whole issue of this oversight that we are doing. And giving, you need to give back to your people, because how did you get voted into the place? You went to seek for their votes. You went to speak to them. What stops you from coming back to give an account of your of what you have done, of your stewardship? Every quarter, make it something that you go back to your constituency. And when you do your constituency, it's not party membership accountability. It is constituency membership accountability. Because at the end of the day, it is not just your political party members that are there. But when you go back and take census, who are the people that come? When the senator comes home, it is party leaders, woman leader, youth leader, ward leader. They are the ones who go there. It is not the entire people there. So if you have the opportunity also to meet with party leaders, you should be able to ask them, please, what is your feedback to the people? So that it's not just party, because the parliament is a house of the people. That's where people can come and cry. We cannot go to Aso Rock, for instance, to go and cry.
But they don't have access to the house.
They don't have access. In fact, if you are going there, if you don't even have an invitation, they don't even let you enter. I know that there are issues of security and all of that. Sometimes you even want to go and see your representative. You sit down for hours and you're not seeing your representative. I have had the opportunity of traveling around the world and went to different parliaments. When you are entering the office of a parliamentarian, you see the flag of the country, you see the flag of the constituency, and on the wall, you say this office belongs to the people of so. You don't need an invitation. You don't need an invitation to see your representative. I am not asking you to go there and ask for money for marriage, ask for money for they do all of those things. You know, and it is also because of the way we have socialized our people to feel that as soon as you get into office, you become the Lord and Master. Meanwhile, when you are looking for that office, the people are the Lord and Master. But once you get into the, like, there's a popular saying, I love saying it every time from the Edo people, that Umana lawyer, that is, if you are not loyal, you will suffer.
Thank you.
Leaders telling people that when the people should be telling the
Thank you. I have to be loyal to my my director, so I will not royal. So let me quickly read some of the comments that I have here. This one says, Muhammad Awal Musa Femai, Greenwall Observers Limited in Kano. He says, how will the 10th National Assembly guarantee that state governors will not weaponize state police forces to suppress local political opponents, community activists, and critical grassroots voices? Good morning, Nigeria. That's may Allah help us all. Thank you very much. That's a response to the bill on state police. Another one says, please, the 10th National Assembly has tried in some areas, but they have not done enough in addressing the issues of corruption, hunger, insecurity, and agriculture. They should enact laws that would strengthen our farmers to enhance food production. Thank you. All right, thank you for your message. Another one says, Amakeju Olagbaju, the 10th Assembly just have a year lifeline and still has time to create its legacy by ensuring that the numerous bills pending are discharged favorably. The Assembly also has to do something in areas of oversight that is currently weak and be less dependent on executive arm for true separation of powers. All right, thank you, Akeju Olagbaju. Another one says, good morning. Since 2023, many constituents have not seen enough tangible federal projects or impactful development in their communities. We voted with hope and expectations. Our representatives should be accountable and ensure that the dividends of democracy reach the grassroots. Thank you. That's from Peter Mose. Another one says, good morning all. An unexamined life is not worth living. How many of the legislators in good conscience can point clearly to what they have done to warrant being returned to either the green or red chambers? My advice is to party leaders across board to emphasize performance over incumbency. Thank you very much. Before we get to the senator who is itching to respond to all of this, let's get to Abdulaziz Abdul Malik Husseini. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, and of course, some of the comments by our viewers. And yes, where Faith, ended her submission.
Interesting conversation. But in all reality and in sincerity, if you listen to some of the comments coming in from true Nigerians and not praise and not political singers, you would realize that there's a disconnect between the National Assembly and the people. Actually, the praise singers, and are not actually the people who would tell you exactly how they feel. So it's quite important for us to really find a way to strike a balance, to go back to our people, speak to our people, hear from them, and ensure that their concerns are reflected in everything that we do in the National Assembly. So if you give me, for example, when you talk about the issue of insecurity, for example, across the North Central, and I'm also way, across the North Central, with our vast land and rich agricultural, the North Central cannot feed itself, not to talk of feeding the nation, whereas Niger State alone can feed West Africa. And this is as a result of insecurity. And when we look at the budget allocation, distinguished senator, you see that the allocation, despite this scarcity of resources, the allocation for the presidency, including the presidential air fleet, is always achieved, almost 100% or even more. But that of security has not been achieved 100%. That's one. Number two, when we go back and we look at the issue of not the issue of education this time around, I want to talk about, when you talk about the budget for the presidency and the security issue, you see that these budgets are not actually speaking in reality to one another. The other side of it that I want to speak about is actually related to the office you occupy, which is labor. Since the coming in of this particular administration, and this is in line with systems thinking, how has my action or inaction contributed to the current situation of the country if our leaders actually go this route whenever they are doing their analysis in terms of accepting some things that come to National Assembly or even rejecting them, or even fighting the executive in regards to that. So we saw the pronouncement as soon as this administration came on board about the increment in terms of welfare for the judiciary workers. In my humble opinion, this is one of the greatest disservice to our nation, because today the conflicting judgments we see is as a result of an impact of something that happened long ago. So he who pays the piper dictates its tune. With that kind of reform, and the FCT minister also giving land allocations and also building estates for judges, all of these are incentives to these people, a subtle way of buying judgment. What has the National Assembly done in this regard to ensure that the judiciary remains independent, as well as the legislature remains very, very independent? These are some of the concerns we have, and these are some of the places where we see that oversight function has really not helped.
Okay, Abdulaziz, I have to pause you there. We have little time for the senator to respond to some of the issues you and Faith have raised and the Nigerians have raised. Senator, before I go to you, insecurity is a huge problem, all over the place, and they keep coming up. New ones keep coming up. I saw most Nigerians expected that when the general was abducted with his wife, generals have been killed, and these are people who are protecting our country or who have protected our country before. Most Nigerians thought that the National Assembly will bring up an emergency sitting that will make sure that this general is rescued before his death. And yesterday his wife was rescued, accepted, is commendable. But I saw a video in Mali where they banned motorcycles, and the insurgents could not move without motorcycles, and most of them were caught. What is the National Assembly doing to ensure that, first of all, these motorcycles are banned, and then instead of defending, we should go all the way to ensure that more Nigerians do not die in captivity? While you respond to some of the issues raised.
Thank you so much. I think there are a lot, and I don't even know how to tackle them, but I would speak on those that are within me.
You have 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. I will rush. About oversight and about possibility of roads. About a week ago, you would see the National Assembly, particularly Senate and Reps, with the Minister for Works. We went along the Abuja, Lokoja road. And if you hear what we said and what was done, we've given all other people working on roads. You cannot block one side for more than 2 weeks. And the interval of blocking should not be more than 1 kilometer. We are aware of the road blockages and the traffic that are on. We go for oversight. We try as much as possible to understand the contractor, understand the people, and understand the inconveniences caused. I think that was on a network. I particularly were about 3 senators, members of the Senate Committee on Works, were with the minister. I think that we're doing our best in terms of oversight. See, my brother was saying that the budget performance of presidency and security. I want you to look at the budget performance. The Nigerian security, particularly the military, they have the highest budget performance. Look at the budget. Look at it. Most of the capital projects of security were paid, were funded. What we know is that is to increase the funding, not that they are not funded. Watch the budget. I'm not asking you to ask me. They come for budget performance. We find out of capital how much was the release met. So the funding for the security is almost 100%.
Now where are the lapses?
I'm trying to tell you that even when you are funding, it may not be enough. You are providing Lipton for the children every day, but maybe somebody want Bombita, another one Milo, but there was no provision for Milo. So what I'm trying to say, for a balanced family, maybe you need Milo, you need Bombita, you need, so there should be increment in budget. You get what I'm saying? But if it is performance, I think that we are magnanimous when it comes to security.
All right, because of time, could you just quickly touch on the other sectors?
They are saying we're not rejecting. There are presidential communications that were rejected. There are people appointed that are not cleared by national, they are not screened by national assembly for 1 or 2 things. There are many. And there are issues that we discussed with Mr. President. This bill here, you said this and this and this are not correct, so we're sending it back to him. You may not necessarily know, but nobody would say we're not edifying.
Okay, quickly, what are you doing about the minimum wage for Nigerian workers, their promotion arrears and wage award? Quickly. It concerns all of us, so we need to know.
The minimum wage, 70,000 naira per, and then the NYSC. Those ones are encapsulated in the Nigerian law. And it goes down to states, local governments, and so on and so forth. As you said, it is not only us. People, we should be conscious enough at the local government if you feel you're not doing it, at the state level, and so on and so forth. There's a private sector too. So when it is low, it becomes an obligation. So I think that you would not only look at it from our perspective. We should all be participatory in ensuring that where we feel it's not done, we should shout.
All right, we need to wrap up. I'd like, Faith, to judge the National Assembly. If we were to judge the National Assembly, will you say it's been courageous, compliant, or would you say it's been consequential?
In 30 seconds.
I would say it's been courageous.
So compliance.
Well, compliance to one side, because if it's compliant, it will be compliant to the people, because they are the voices of the people. So they have not been compliant to the people. So I would just say they have not been courageous enough. But they are doing well, but they need to do better.
Okay, Abdulaziz, if Nigerians are to grade the National Assembly today, what score would it earn and why? In 30 seconds, let's get it.
I would like to have a scale, on a scale of 1 to 10 or a scale of 1 to 3. Give me on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll tell you that the National Assembly currently will score a 4 because the people are not getting represented appropriately and the way it should be. Thank you.
A 4, not a pass mark. But Senator, what should Nigerians expect in the next few months before you round off the 10th Senate?
I do believe that the 1 month that is left very critical for this government and this administration. We're expecting a lot from this government to enable the people to vote the government back. I pray that it's going to be eventful. I pray that what the government holds for the people.
Are we going to see more politics in the next few months?
There will be. There'll be more. There will be politics.
And not
no, but what is
focused
politics?
on.
You see, it depends. What's politics? Politics is about the people. So there's going to be a lot about the people, which is politics.
Okay, about the people. That's it for today.
That's a political answer.
Yes, Senator Ticket Plan,
Yes,
Senator representing Plateau
Central,
Central District and Chairman Senate Committee on Employment and Labour. Thank you. You've not talked about the wage award. Thank you so much for coming. Faith Nwadishi, Executive Director, Center for Transparency Advocacy. We appreciate you always for bringing your contribution to this thing. Abdulaziz Abdul Malik Husseini, Programs Lead at Connected Development Code. He joined us via Zoom. Thank you so much for your contribution and giving a mark, for the National Assembly. I believe based on that, they work harder to make sure they get an 8 or 9 next time. We thank you so much for coming on the program, and we thank you so much for your time. That's how it's been on Good Morning Nigeria today. It's been a very interesting conversation, and tomorrow a more interesting conversation is coming up.
All right, Sami and Region, leave it locked in the NTA.
And Juma yourself.
Welcome to Eco Frontline on Africa's window to the world. The impact of climate change on the human health is worrisome and calls for urgent and collective action to mitigate it. Climate change is no longer a future warning or a distant threat. One of the most pressing environmental issues of our time is plastic pollution, be it in a visible form, microplastic or nanoplastic. What role do you see government policies or public awareness playing in the future? Let's zoom our lens on its political history at this moment.
Algeria did not have a centralized political structure prior to its colonization by France.
It is now time for our weekly roundoff of African history. Welcome to the interview segment on Lens on Africa.
Examines its relevance, the pathways to achieving it.
To sustain productivity, there must be continuity.
Where the winds whisper secret, to the sands lies the forgotten kingdom of Daamat.
It is on this note that we conclude Lens on Africa today.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
This is the network service of the NTA.
It's day 6 at the 2026 FIFA World Cup in the Americas. You might say it's still all in the days, but you know what? There have been surprises, shocks, and even some major upsets. And that is what we signed for. Hello and welcome. The show is Sports World, coming to you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Badi Adeleye. And of course, as always, we're reaching you from the ever beautiful Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. I call it Mansa. On the road today, we'll be updating you when it comes to results, fixtures, and of course other happenings when it comes to the 2026 FIFA World Cup in the United States of America, Mexico, and Canada. And of course, we'll talk about Nigeria Super Falcons, who are getting set for another WAFCON, and they are chasing an 11th title. Also, we'll talk about Nigeria Women's Football League Premiership. We have the winners for the 2025-2026 season. Also have some news for you when it comes to other sports, not leaving out horse racing and even Formula One, with Lewis Hamilton still basking in the euphoria of winning in a red car. And of course, what I will always tell you on Sports World is that you're always in for an interesting treat. And today's edition will be no different. Many thanks again for joining us. All right, straight to the business of the day. Let's begin from the Americas, talking about the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Lots of interesting results, and of course, for Africa, that is our interest. And of course, Cote d'Ivoire got Africa our first win at the World Cup with a 1-0 win over South Americans, Ecuador. Interesting results with Amad Diallo getting the goal coming from the bench to do his thing. And of course, we saw the interesting results also from Saturday to Sunday, and of course yesterday, Monday. So let's quickly show you all the results we've got so far, and evidently the fixtures for today and tomorrow when it comes to the... All right, quite interesting. We're looking forward to African teams, doing well at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, we do know that, so many countries are getting new supporters, especially from Nigeria. Yes, Nigerians have adopted so many teams that they want to support. Why? Because Nigeria is not at the World Cup. So we're choosing new favorites. Now, what is happening to Nigeria? How does it feel for Nigerians not to see their team at the World Cup? Bright Ebocho will be finding answers to these because it is painful for Nigerians.
The road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup in the United States, Canada, and Mexico will continue without Nigeria for the second straight edition. The Super Eagles failed to qualify for football's biggest tournament, a painful reality for a country long regarded as one of Africa's football powerhouses. Yet, even in Nigerians' absence, traces of the country's football heritage will still shine brightly on the world stage. England are expected to rely heavily on Arsenal star Bukayo Saka, whose Nigerian roots are well documented through his Yoruba parents. Saka has become one of England's most important attacking players and is tipped to play a leading role at the World Cup. Arsenal playmaker Eberechi Eze is another player of Nigerian descent likely to feature for the Three Lions. The gifted midfielder once trained with Nigerian's youth setup but committed his international future to England. France will parade one of Europe's most exciting attacking stars in Michael Olise of Bayern Munich. Germany's squad could include Bayern Munich sensation Jamal Musiala, born to a Nigerian father and German mother. Austrian captain David Alaba, whose father is Nigerian, remains one of the most respected defenders in world football. Despite Nigerians' interest years ago, Alaba built an international career with Austria and is preparing for another World Cup campaign. The Netherlands may also feature Manchester City defender Nathan Ake, while England's squad could include talents such as Noni Madueke and several emerging players of Nigerian descent across Europe.
People like Saka, Michael Miguel or something, a few Nigerian top-notch that will play in this World Cup for another nation is the most annoying thing.
It's very painful. It's very painful. It's something that is so. I can't imagine seeing our own born African players, Nigerians precisely, they are representing other nations.
For millions of fans, the emotional pain may deepen when the World Cup begins and players with Nigerian bloodlines walk onto the pitch in Los Angeles, Toronto, and Mexico City, wearing the jerseys of England, France, Germany, Austria, and the Netherlands, instead of the famous green and white.
Yes, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will miss the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and for millions of fans, that truly hurts. But one thing remains certain: this country will never run out of football talent. The challenge, however, is turning that talent into a system that can compete, win, and make Nigeria proud again. Bright Abuja, NTA News. Quite unfortunate that the Super Eagles will not be at the World Cup. But let's turn our attention to the women. They will always deliver and be at every edition of the World Cup. They are preparing for an 11th AFCON title that they beat to win. And of course, with that, they will also qualify automatically for the Women's World Cup. So how far with their preparations and what's up with them when it comes to behind-the-scenes affairs? That is what we get to know on the MTN Super Falcons show. If you know the drill, Osarame Egbenebo is standing by to update us. Osarame, the ball is in your court. Take it away.
Striker Joy Omewa is leading the charge of new set of players fighting for a regular place in the Super Falcons as the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations draws closer. Will the old guards give way? This is the MTN Super Falcons show. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mamas and papas. Welcome aboard a new episode of the MTN Super Falcons show. My name is Osarame Inekbenebo, and as always, I will be your host on this jolly good ride. Now, this show is a one-stop shop for all things Super Falcons, bringing you content from off and on the pitch, and today promises to be no exception. I'll have you know that this show is proudly brought to you by the #1 telecommunications giant, MTN. Now straight into the mix of things for the day. The double friendly against the Teranga Lionesses of Senegal was indeed a really refreshing engagement for our Super Falcons. Coach Justin Madugu now has a fair idea of what he has in his arsenal, with options to pick from ahead of the tournament. The more experienced stars now know that they have some level of competition going into the WAFCON in Morocco. Now, before I unravel and bring to you all that we have for today in its entirety, we go on this really short break and we will be right back. Just stay with us.
See this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down.
Okoronkwo and Ashley Plumter pushing their way back into full fitness as they go through their rehabilitation programs. The question on everyone's mind is, will they be fit for the 2026 WAFCON taking place in Morocco from July the 25th to August 16th? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Now, Nigeria will begin the defense of their title in Group C against Zambia, Malawi, and Egypt. This 16th edition of the WAFCON is taking on a special status as it will be a qualifier for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil. Meanwhile, Joy Omewa is taking a claim to the strikers' front line of the Super Falcons. The 23-year-old, who was on loan from Fortuna Hurling of Norway to Nottingham Forest last season, got a brace in the friendly between the Super Falcons and the Teranga Lionesses of Senegal in Ikenne. You want to see how she did it? Well, let's take you there.
The second half. And here they come knocking on the door. Oladipo down the right flank. And it's just for Melo!
From a bird's eye view, you should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest crowd.
Talking about qualifying frustration. A touch in their own hand.
Heartbeats are high, feel passions fly. We take up wings and touch the sky. Whoa. Come rain, come shine. We go to Cali. Come rain, come shine. We go to Cali. We go to Cali. We go to Cali.
NTN, proud supporters of Nigerian football.
That, of course, is Joy Omewa grabbing 2 goals in the second friendly match against Senegal. Do you think these young players can get a place ahead of the experienced ones in the Super Falcons? I, for one, think that that's very tricky, very dicey, but definitely the sky is big enough for everyone. Now, go to our socials, share your opinion on the Super Falcons preparation for the WAFCON. Let us know. The handles are at MTNNG on Instagram and X, MTN Nigeria on Facebook and YouTube, and of course our very own pages, the Super Falcons Show. Now, that's the much that we can take for today on the show. But just before we go, we would like to say a hearty congratulations to Chiamaka Nnadozie. She was celebrated by her club Brighton and Hove on making a beautiful debut with 63 saves and 6 clean sheets. That's our safe hands for a reason. My name remains Osarame Inekmanebo. I'm not alone in the studio. I've got my producer, Tayo Gunsheye, behind the scenes, making things happen. Keep it a date with us next week, Tuesday, same time on NTA. And if you cannot clock in to check in and join us on the show, you can always catch it on MTN's Ayuba app. See you next week. Toodles!
Alright, you're still watching Sports Reel on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We're not done when it comes to women's football. This time around, let's talk about the just concluded Nigeria Women's Football League Premiership Super 6, as we now have our winners for the 2025-2026 season in the form of Edo Queens. And of course, that will be the first time that they will be winning it, the second time in 3 years for them. And they get to represent Nigeria when it comes to the qualifiers for the CAF Women's Champions League, which is going to happen in Burkina Faso. Quite interesting to see them draw Bayelsa Queens. It was a goalless game in their 5th match of the playoffs, and that was enough for them to amass 10 points, which gave them the championship. Evidently, they get to celebrate, and it made it the 3rd trophy, when it comes to the NWFL Premiership for their coach, Moses Aduku. So congratulations to Edo Queens and, of course, all the other 10 teams who fought so hard to win the title. Better luck next time. And what, a playoffs that we saw there, Super 6 playoffs, quite interesting to see how that panned out. All right, away from the NWFL Super 6 now, let's turn our attention to the President's Federation Cup. And of course, the semi-finalists have emerged, and we cannot wait to see how that will also pan out. And when it comes to the men's semi-finals, we do know that Wiki Tourist of Bauchi are away to El Kanemi Warriors of Maiduguri. And of course, Ikorodu Sete will also entertain Nasarawa United. That match will be holding at the Samuel Ogbamudia Stadium in Benin City. Who do you think will make it to the finals? We cannot wait to see and know. And that will happen on Wednesday. So, all the best to all the teams. All right, let's turn our attention now to one of the fastest growing sports in Nigeria. That is horse racing. Years ago, many never saw it as one of the fastest growing sports in Nigeria, but it's gradually gaining popularity and prominence. And of course, last weekend, we saw the Zaria leg of the Renewed Hope Horse Racing Derby, the International Horse Racing Derby, with winners emerging in different categories. And we saw the top prizes. Quite interesting to see that. Our correspondent covered it from day one to the very last day, and he has the final day report.
It is a spectacular moment in the ancient city of Zazzau, as thousands of spectators assembled to witness the final day of the horse racing derby. 7 races were organized on the last day, with each first position received a brand new saloon car and a trophy, second position with 1 million naira, while the second runners-up went home with 600,000 naira only. Among the trophies won include the Emir of Zazzau, Etsunupe, Sultan of Sokoto, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Kaduna State Governor, as well as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Trophy. Pioneer horse owned by Amir Stable, a match winner of Etsunupe Cup, followed by Taurariwa horse owned by the same stable, Gobeta Allah Che on the third position owned by Makina Stable, as well as Gidonia on the fourth position owned by Speedy Stable, all went home with different cups.
I didn't just win a car. We won cars. We won about 4. Glory be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm the most impressive among them all, which made me, very, very happy than others, is that of the Talon race. Our horses didn't just come first. We came first, second, third, and fourth.
By next year, if we come to this ground, which will be the third consecutive racing on this ground, year in, year out, we are hoping to have a brand new race ground.
A lot of people, jokers, came from various countries, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, and and Sudan. A lot of them, most of them are here. You can see their flags here.
Something of a joy to all of us. I've not actually witnessed this for a very long time.
About 250 horses competed in 24 races in the 3 day of the International Horse Racing Tournament. From Zaria, Lawal Sallau Inwa, NTA News.
All right, you know what? Like I always say, Sports Reel is never complete without bringing to you an aggregation of trending sports stories from all over the world, which is Sports Tidbits. We're ready for it, and Francisca Bile will take us through the ride. Francisca, it's over to you.
The first phase of the Comptroller General of Customs Volleyball Premier League has commenced in Abuja as the race to crown the 2026 champions gets underway. Early favorites, including Nigeria Customs and CNS Spikers, have already laid down markers of their title ambitions with impressive opening victories. Officials of Nigeria Volleyball Federation and sponsors of the league Croatia play Japan in the second group game on Saturday before facing the Netherlands. Elsewhere, Real Madrid have signed defender Marc Cucurella from Chelsea on a 6-year deal. The fee is £47.5 million plus £4.3 million in add-ons, with the potential to rise to £51.8 million in total. To Formula One, Lewis Hamilton says nothing is impossible in terms of winning this year's Formula One world title. After his first race victory for Ferrari in the Barcelona-Catalonia Grand Prix turbocharged his 2026 resurgence, Hamilton ended his wait for a first Grand Prix win as a Ferrari driver on Sunday with a triumph that married impressive pace with fortune of a well-timed virtual safety car. With Mercedes Championship leader Kimi Antonelli retiring from second place late on, second place Hamilton is now 41 points behind with 15 races of what stands as a 22-race campaign still to go. With sports tidbits, Francisca Bile, NTA Sports.
Many thanks, Francisca. And of course, with that, we're done on the show today. As always, I want to thank you for hanging out with us. Do remember that you can always get unlimited sports content on NTA Sports 24, channel 270 on Star Times. And of course, World Cup matches are live on the NTA. So make NTA Sports 24 your go-to channel. You can also stream via the free TV app that you can get on Play Store or Apple Store. I am Badi Adeleye, thanking you on behalf of everyone here. And like I always say, I will tell you to always be yourself and stay out of trouble. You don't need it for anything. I'll see you next time.
Get it under his control.
Nigeria's headline inflation rises to 15.93% year-on-year in May 2026 amidst rising food prices. Central Bank of Nigeria's new rules to set fair price for bank borrowing overnight. Plus, federal government to roll out 10,000 electric tricycles to Nigerian market in August. And Dangote Refinery reduces its petrol gantry price to 1,175 naira per litre. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Nneka Uko, your guide. Welcome to the Tuesday morning edition of your favorite finance and economy program. Now, amidst global tensions, Nigeria's headline inflation rate rose marginally to 15.93% in May 2026 from 15.69% in April for the third time this year. However, it was significantly lower than the 26.06% recorded in May 2025, reflecting easing price pressures over the past year. Data by the National Bureau of Statistics shows that on a month-on-month basis, headline inflation slowed to 1.75% in May from 2.13% in April, indicating a slower pace of increase in the general price level. Food inflation moderated, declining to 2.98% in May from 3.63% in April. On a year-on-year basis, food inflation stood at 16.96%, lower than the 24.55% recorded in May 2025, suggesting gradual improvement in food price stability. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is driving a major shift in the country's financial architecture with the introduction of the Nigerian overnight financing rate, a new benchmark set to guide short-term lending and borrowing across the financial system. Musa Abubakar reports.
Inflows of financial institutions to boardrooms of investors, benchmark rates remain the compass of modern financial markets, guiding pricing, liquidity, and risk. Now Nigeria is charting a new course with the launch of the Nigerian overnight financing rate, NOFA, a reformed reference rate anchored on actual market transactions to enhance transparency, credibility, and efficiency in financial pricing.
For banks, investors, and financial market participants, the introduction of NOFA provides a transparent and reliable reference rate that can support the treasury and liquidity management operations, pricing of financial contracts and securities.
Under the theme, Advancing Nigeria's Financial Markets Through a Credible Benchmark Rate, stakeholders described the initiative as a key step in deepening monetary policy transmission and aligning with global best practices.
As global markets increasingly move toward more robust transaction-based reference rates, Nigeria must continue to position itself not merely to follow change, but to shape it.
Driven by reforms championed within the financial system by the Central Bank of Nigeria, NOFA is expected to strengthen interbank activity, improve risk pricing, and support more resilient and globally competitive financial market architecture. In Abuja, Musa Abubakar.
Dangote Petroleum Refinery has reduced the gantry price of premium motor spirit petrol by 75 naira per litre. In a circular to fuel marketers on Monday, the refinery said the adjustment followed the de-escalation of the tension in the Middle East, which had impacted energy prices in the past 3 months. It added that the new gantry price is now 1,175 naira per litre, down from 1,250 naira, while the cost of price per metric ton has been reduced from 1,595 million naira, 1.595 million naira to 1.495 million naira. In Nigeria, petrol prices rose from about 830 naira per litre to around 1,300 naira per litre in the last couple of months. Diesel and aviation fuel prices also recorded significant increases, with crude prices now retreating. The adjustment by the Dangote refinery is expected to bring further relief in domestic fuel prices undefined. Still on energy matters, oil prices extended losses this Tuesday as markets weighed prospects for resumption of supply through the key Strait of Hormuz against shaky physical market drivers. In early trade, Brent crude futures fell 25 cents or 0.3% to $82.92 a barrel, and U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude inched down 9 cents to $80.66 a barrel. On Monday, oil prices fell nearly 5% to their lowest close since March 4, after U.S. President Donald Trump said a memorandum of understanding was signed to end the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran, though full details have not been made public. We now move to see prices of other commodities on the global markets. And now to our conversation. Last week, the global financial landscape witnessed a historic moment as billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk reportedly became the world's first trillionaire following the strong market debut on SpaceX on NASDAQ. The development has once again highlighted the immense wealth creation potential of capital markets and the growing influence of technology-driven companies on global economic growth. Now, as global markets continue to attract investment and create value, what can emerging economies like Nigeria learn from these developments? For the answer to that and more, we are joined virtually from Lagos by renowned financial and capital market analyst, Mr. Johnson Chukwu, who is also the Chief Executive Officer of Cowrie Asset Management. Hello, Mr. Chukwu. It's good to have you join us on Business Express.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. First off, here at home, Nigeria has officially overtaken Morocco to become Africa's second largest stock market. Data as of May 15, 2026 shows the Nigerian Exchange Limited at $117 billion market capitalization, behind only South Africa's JSE at $1.5 trillion. Sir, is this a reflection of real economic progress, or is it a story that is still largely on paper?
Well, it's neither of both. It's not exactly a reflection of economic growth. It's a reflection of investors' optimism. So it's not just on paper, because what you're looking at is real values. If your stock has 100%, you can cash out that 100%, so it's real value. But what has happened is that the market has witnessed consistent appreciation over the past 4 years. This year, the market had actually gained, as at the close of business yesterday, had gained about 56.3%. Last year, it gained 51.19%. That was 2025. In 2024, it gained about 37.6%. And after he had gained about 45%, about 45.7% in 2023. So if you look at that, cumulatively, the market has gained over 200% in the past 4 years. And that is, if you're taking the entire basket of portfolio. What that means that investors have been optimistic about the outlook of the Nigerian economy, about the outlook of opportunities in the economy. But unfortunately, that has not reflected in the overall GDP growth rate, which is why I said it is neither of both. So we are dealing with market optimism. And another factor we have to recognize that the equity market seems to be one of the few investment options available in the economy. and is the most vibrant variable income asset class. What I mean by variable income asset class is that the value of your investment can increase. Unlike when you talk of fixed income asset class, like treasury bills, bonds, where return is fixed. So investors are looking at where can they invest. And today we have seen two investment classes appreciate. One, the equity market, two, the real estate market. And those two have attracted so much investment. And that's why I said what we're dealing with, market optimism, investors optimism, and say, look, we think the future is looking good or is better than what it was previously.
The NGX recently made its T+1 settlement transition, meaning that trades now settle within 1 working day rather than 2. Sir, from where you sit, does that kind of structural reform actually move the needle for investor confidence, or is it the sort of thing that matters mainly to institutional players?
No, it matters to everybody. Whether you talk of moving the needle to investors' confidence, it leads to improvement in market liquidity. It leads to improvement in volume of investment. And when I talk of market liquidity, this is basically what happens. If you are dealing with a T+1, which is what I have today. So today is Tuesday, I could trade today, and by tomorrow the trade will settle, which means I can even trade tomorrow, knowing fully well that before the settlement on Wednesday, the process of what I had traded on Tuesday would have settled on Wednesday, and I can use it to trade again so that it will settle on Wednesday. So it almost gives opportunity for investors, particularly those who are speculative investors, to trade on daily basis with the same level of resource. And that increases market liquidity. It increases the transactions volume, and it also increases market and bear in mind that whatever increases market activities also have the prospect of increasing capital gain opportunities, because as you are buying and others are buying from you, and if the market is moving the positive, it then means that for every purchase you are likely going to see an increase in market price. So it has a way of boosting market liquidity and boosting the volume and value of transactions on that exchange.
Back to the global stage now. Elon Musk's emergence as the world's first trillionaire has captured global attention. What does this tell us about the current strength and depth of capital markets?
Well, it takes us a couple of stories. One is that the power of innovation. If you look at today, the global capital market is dominated, or the rich cadre of investors are dominated by those who are into the tech industry. And what is it that drove investors to buy Elon Musk asset companies? Because of the fact that he developed a reusable rocket, which the world thought it was impossible. And therefore, he reduced the cost of space travel to a fraction of what it used to be. And investors are betting that, look, now he's likely going to commercialize space travel. So they are investing with the expectation that when he commercializes space travel, because the rockets can be used, they can go to outer space and come back and be used again, then you begin to spend profit and money. And that's what investors are betting on. So, but basically, two things there. One, it is the power of innovation. Two, is the size of the American economy, the global economy, and a lot of investment and the values that Elon Musk has now garnered in terms of his wealth is because of the size of the American economy. So he has become the first trillionaire in the world because of his level of innovation, because of his ability to come to the market and bring the value he has created to the market, which he had actually held back all this while. So two things you have to take away from that: power of innovation, two, the power of the market, and three, the optimism of the market looking forward to prospects. Now remember, the market actually buys expected future cash flow. So when people are buying a stock, they are buying into the expected future cash flow. So if they think the prospects, which I talked about the market optimism earlier, if they think the prospects that the instrument they're investing in will continue to spin cash, or the value of that investment will increase, they are ready to take position in it.
All right, the SpaceX listing raised $75 billion in a single transaction. That is more than Nigeria's entire federal budget for a year. Now, when capital moves at that scale and at that speed towards technology and innovation-driven companies, what does it say about where the world's investment appetite is heading? And where does Nigeria's exchange fit in that picture?
Well, in the first place, where the world investment direction is heading to is technology, digital platforms, technology, and I can say technology. And so we are seeing beyond Elon Musk, we've seen all the technology companies driving up investment globally. We saw when Alibaba's ants came to the market, the kind of money they raised. We've seen virtually all of them, Google and all the rest, what they are doing, and that's Alphabet. But then, if you come to the Nigerian market, two things. Our technology-driven companies are largely not listed on the Nigerian exchange, but they have created market values based on the prices at which foreign investors are taking position in them. The unicorns in this country, some of them are already valued above $1 billion. So that means when they will eventually come to the market, they will further diversify the market products as well as deepen the market in terms of product offerings and the size of the market. But if you look at our market today, it is still driven by the brick and mortar enterprises, the banking industry. Now we're talking of the telecommunication sector. Then you look at the consumer goods, industrial goods sector. So those are the major drivers of the Nigerian exchange today. We are hoping that with the Dangote's private placement and upcoming initial public offer, we're going to see the downstream oil and gas sector further expand to include the midstream operator, which is the refinery. And that will further deepen the market and diversify the market. But we don't have the technology companies yet. And that's where the direction of the world is going to. We have not been able to pivot to that level of digital entities or corporate entities becoming listed here. Ultimately, the world is going to be driven by AI. It's going to be digitization. And we also need to grow our unicorns so that they can become listed on the Nigerian exchange.
So what sectors of the Nigerian economy do you think have the greatest potential to deliver strong returns to investors over the next 5 years?
Well, I think the agriculture sector will be one of those sectors that will drive value because, one, we are talking of a huge population. Two, we are talking of a sector that has the prospect of being an export-driven sector. Look at what has happened because of the Russia-Ukraine war. When the war started, you saw the price of grains shoot up. The world is looking for another point of manufacturing, particularly agricultural output. So I think, and that sector is highly underdeveloped. So when we improve the value chain, we're going to see that sector grow. We have about 2 companies listed, and you can see where they performed. Then you have to look at the financial services sector because of the intermediation role. So I want to talk about financial services sector. I'm talking of inclusive of the fintech operators who are likely going to come to the market. The unicorn, I mentioned earlier, they're going to come to the market and they will create values. And then you look at our upstream oil and gas sector. We expect that crude production will improve in the near future, within the next 5 years, and the upstream operators should be able to value. But you will never discount the consumer goods sector because of the size of the population. The good thing about consumer goods is that whatever we produce, we can sell as long as of good value and good price.
Raza, before we let you go, let's have your projection of the performance of the capital market in Nigeria for this week and the rest of the year. Briefly, sir.
Well, I think the market will struggle this week. It started yesterday at 0.6% negative performance. Bear in mind, like I mentioned earlier, the market has actually done about 56.3% so far this year, higher than what the entire market gain of last year of 51.19%. So I think the market is at a resistant level. At a resistant level. So the likelihood that the market, we're going to see market appreciation in the next couple of weeks is low because the benefit season has already passed. People are no longer expecting interim dividend. All the companies that wanted to declare dividend have declared. Those who are not able to declare have already made it clear they won't declare. So the next round of market rally will come after September when investors are trying to take position for mid-term benefit payment in terms of interim dividend.
All right. A very big thank you to you, Mr. John Sinchuku, for joining us on Business Express this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Do have a great day, sir. Moving on, the House of Representatives has approved the 3-month extension for the implementation of the capital component of the 2025 budget, shifting the deadline from June 30 to September 30, 2026. The approval followed an emergency plenary session convened in Parliament despite the lawmakers' annual recess. The bill, in concurrence with the Senate, will be sent to the President for his assent.
If we do not extend the life of this particular act, it will have very grave impact on the growth and development of the national economy.
From the records we received from the chairman appropriation and from other relevant quarters are yet to be fully implemented. So it is in the best interest of this country and the National Assembly for us to move for an extension of this budget from June 30th to September 30th.
The Nigerian equities market closed Monday's trading session on a negative note as selling pressure weighed on overall performance despite strong market activity. The benchmark Nigerian exchange ASI settled at 243,422.34 points, ending the day in negative territory as investors booked profits across key counters. Market capitalization closed at 156.125 trillion naira, reflecting the day's bearish undertone despite sustained participation. Royal Exchange led the gainers with 10% share price appreciation, closing at 1 naira 65 kobo per share. And on the global scene, Asian stocks made cautious gains on Tuesday. Other markets are also showing positive momentum on news of a U.S.-Iran peace deal, while investors assessed a widely expected Bank of Japan rate increase to a 31-year high. Here is a rundown of global stock markets. This is where we end this edition of Business Express. Don't forget to visit the NTA YouTube channel for past episodes. Join us again on Wednesday at 3 p.m. I am Neka Oko saying, keep thinking and doing business.
Fellow Nigerians, 27 years ago, many doubted democracy would survive here because of our diversity. Today, our diversity sustains our democracy. The road ahead is steep, but June 12 reminds us, Nigeria do not break. We bend, we bleed, but we do not break. Let us renew our covenant that the labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain, and that our government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this land.
To execute it.
And trying to get it under his control.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
This is the network service of the NTA.
A balanced life means all-around wellness. But for some, healing precedes. Welcome to Better You. My name is Jane Izo. I'm your host. So today's program is focused on trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. What role does healing play in this discourse? We have a short documentary that highlights the emotional and, of course, the impact of trauma, the warning signs, and the courage of those learning to heal. So let's watch. I'll be right back.
Trauma is not always loud. Sometimes it hides behind a smile, a busy shadow, or the words, "I am fine." But deep inside, painful experiences can leave emotional fingerprints that shape how people think, react, and connect with the world. Trauma can come from loss, violence, abuse, accidents, rejection, or even years of silent suffering. Post-traumatic stress disorder, known as PTSD, is what happens when the mind struggles to move beyond a terrifying or painful experience. A sound, a place, a smell, or even a memory can suddenly pull someone back into fear. It is not weakness, attention-seeking, or drama. It is a real emotional and psychological response that deserves understanding and care. The truth is, many people are fighting battles no one can see. Sometimes they don't even fully understand how to combat trauma. They don't know where to get help. They don't know how to bring it to a stop, or if at all, that is even possible. Many are healing from child steps of recovery.
So our guest is Dr. Usman Adamu Gwaram. He is a chief consultant, trauma surgeon, coordinator of the National Trauma Center, National Hospital, Abuja. We're glad to have you with us, shed more light on this issue.
Thank you.
So to begin, Doc, can you explain what trauma is and how it affects people, emotionally and mentally?
Thank you very much. Trauma is usually any serious, distressing, or disturbing experience that overwhelms the body's capacity to handle it naturally. So it's like after a serious, disturbing, or distressing incident, you may heal, or the brain may persist in that danger mode. So the stressors could be anything, ranging from physical conditions, somebody that is involved in a road traffic accident, or sustained gunshot wounds, or was stabbed, or terrorist attack, kidnappings, beatings, all those, or burns, or somebody that fell from height. All of those are severe situations that you can heal, or you can mend the broken bones, the wounds that were bleeding, but deep inside, the brain could continue bleeding and the mind could continue. Again, not just physical conditions, there are social, psychological, spiritual, socio-economic things that would actually give you, so they are so intense that somebody would actually maintain in that situation. Like social conditions, if somebody were to suffer some serious rejection, abandonment, separation, divorce in a severe fashion that it's not handled properly, childhood abuse, neglect over time, or chronic lack, unemployment, serious conditions like that, somebody could actually, it would reach a breaking limit that somebody cannot cope. And then at times, there may be distressing situations that would test your faith, your hope, your relation with God, or relationship with humanity.
Doc, how can someone tell the difference between normal stress, after a very painful event? How can somebody tell the difference between the normal stress, and trauma itself? And of course, let's not forget the post-traumatic stress disorder. When should someone require medical professional help?
So the post-traumatic stress disorder is when this situation, you have been exposed to a traumatic situation, and then you maintain in that condition, the brain maintain in that condition, even though the injury is gone, but the brain has maintained in that level technically, to make it simple. So usually the brain is wired in such a way that there is a fear area in the brain, there is area for stress hormones, that during stress you release them. There are sleep areas, and all of these areas, they become hyperfunctional when there is danger, naturally. But when the danger is gone, somebody reverts to his normal condition. But in post-traumatic stress disorders, to make it very simple, you still maintain in that condition, and then somebody manifests certain symptoms. one needs to seek professional help when symptoms of whatever he is experiencing, the pain, the hurt, hasn't subsided by the time it reaches a month. At least more than 4 weeks, somebody needs help. And then when it results in some loss of ability, in the sense that he finds it difficult to do what he used to do, his work, it's very difficult for him to walk. It's very difficult for him to relate emotionally to people that he is used to relating with. When he develops anxiety, and then when there is difficulty in sleeping, when somebody really reaches a level whereby he's contemplating or actually using alcohol or any drug to douse the pain, those are indices that somebody knows that he should seek professional help.
All right, Doc. What are some warning signs or symptoms people should look out for themselves, and of course, even for their very loved ones, not just for themselves?
The features that usually people manifest it, you'll be reliving the situation that happened time and again, flashbacks, having nightmares of it, intrusive memories of the things that happened. Or the person would be withdrawn, all right? Can be withdrawn with depression, isolation, not talking about it, doesn't want to discuss the thing, doesn't want to visit or to be around anywhere that situation happened, or be around people that the same thing happened to them. Or he develops outright distressing coping mechanisms, anxiety conditions, substance abuse, alcohol, and just to escape from that situation. Then something that is quite delicate, sensitive, and subtle, like suffering inside, that you are traumatized or something like that, it's unlikely to get the necessary attention until it gives a social explosion. Social explosion in the sense that when somebody commits suicide, or when it is affecting millions, and then a lot of million youth that are traumatized, they lend themselves to being radicalized, to being recruited into criminal activities, to be for mass protests and lots of other things. The same thing in the providers, even the security agents, they suffer a lot of these post-traumatic stress disorders, the healthcare providers too, and everybody. And it's becoming a mass situation, but it's masked in the sense that it is not manifest, it only manifests in so many other things. As we discuss, we'll get to see practically how these things manifest in our community and how they reproduce themselves.
How can victims deal with internet, this social media and societal bullying?
It's one of the horrible things, you complain of something and people mock you for it, make jest of it. People are just looking for fame, easily to record something and share that is going to get likes. And the irresponsibility sometimes, you don't care what consequences, emotional and public disgrace. These are stressors. It's something that can tilt somebody, give somebody all of this anxiety, depression, and the post-traumatic stress disorders. Another thing that is very important, madam, is these things transcends into generations. If I am to give you like a trend, for instance, a young child that is victim of child abuse, you can patch that child and then get him to primary school. Eventually, if he has that scar, he may end up turning into a bully in school. He will be bullying other children, or he will be so passive that he is being bullied. And then if he bullied somebody, that same person, now he has created another route. That is somebody with trauma again. Then they will patch him up from secondary school, primary school. He would get into secondary school. So start experimenting with drugs, you understand, cannabis initially, cigarettes and things like that. And then he will recruit others. And then you see another branch. If this thing, they will patch him up. If this guy is patched up, he may move into the society, maybe into higher education, universities, colleges, or education, and things like that. And they join gangs, cults, you understand? And before you know it, they get higher level. So in that process, or in communities, they will be the people that are being, or if it drops out of school, they will be the ones selling drugs, you understand, recruiting other individuals. So you see one individual, then that person, naturally, if you are doing drug deals, it's just a stone throw away. Next step is for you to become either an armed robber or of whatever kind of criminal. So you would inflict trauma on other human beings. You would use that money to buy drugs. You would use that money to do all manner of sexual indiscretions and things like that. Then terminally, that same person would either end up in prison, or he would have guns, he would shoot police officer or somebody, and he would have created traumatic distress disorder in another person or in another system. He has overwhelmed healthcare system. And terminally, if this guy were to be killed in public or something, like somebody will record it and post it, and then it will create. So this is an unending reproducing event that kept unchecked. It is just breeding millions and millions of people suffering from all this.
Okay, Doc, in our society, well, not only our society, generally, a lot of people don't like to talk about their traumatic experiences, not even when they are in their post-traumatic stress disorder periods. Can you please tell us why is it important to always speak out?
It's very important to talk to a trusted, reliable person that you feel safe, because all of these things, they disrupt your capacity to feel safe again, to feel emotionally complete, to trust, to really your self-esteem is so low that even if somebody meets out a very nasty treatment to you, you will feel that it's justified. Everything is happening wrong to me and things like that. Give up syndrome situation that you have given up in life and things. It's very important to have a partner, a friend, a group, an individual that you can speak openly to, somebody that understands you. Just like they say, a problem shared is a problem halved. If you speak about it, you do this thing. In Hausa, they say the person who speaks, he may not have a lot of confidence or secrets, but he doesn't have a lot of mistakes, and then he doesn't have lots of problem nagging it. Because these things, you're bottling them up. Even if you are not bottling them up, but people should know, because before they encourage you to seek help or to take you to where you should have the pain. So the families, the do's is encourage the person to talk, all right? Try as much as possible to be supportive, to understand this thing. So, and don't mock the person, don't dismiss their feeling, don't disregard it. And as a community, we should not forget about it, but downplay it, saying that, okay, it's the village people, or you are weak, or you are spiritually weak, or it's a prayer situation. Yes, it may be, but still, if it persists, it will require medical attention.
All right, Dr. Gwaram, what practical steps can viewers take today to support their mental and emotional well-being?
The most important thing is for people to realize, number one, you are not alone. People are suffering these things. Number two, it's not because you are weak or because you've done something wrong. No, it's a medical condition. Just like any medical condition can affect somebody, those mental or stressful anxiety, depression, and things like that, the post-traumatic stress disorder, they are medical conditions with cause and effect and treatment. There is nothing shameful about it. It's not something you should be ashamed. In fact, it should be shame on the person that tried to shame you for that clinical condition, because it shows basic ignorance. We have to pass that level of ignorance and seek professional help. By the time it has reached a level whereby you cannot cope with it, you cannot get the family to support you to cope with it, seek out professional help. It's the first thing. And help is out there. Otherwise, you're going to harm yourself further, harm the people that love you, your loved ones. If it is children, you are not available for your children, you are not productive in your society, you are not making a lot of impact in your work and things like that. So it is something that actually you could be helped. And not just help yourself, have it in your mind, if you ever suffer through these traumatic challenges, you weaned through it or you're supported out of it, have it at the back of your mind to ever be there for other people who are suffering. Try to bring it out and try to help them to get support so that we reduce the burden of this thing that is really bedeviling our society.
Thank you once again, Dr. Adamu Gwaram, Dr. Usman Adamu Gwaram, for those enlightening insights on trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, conversations like this will always encourage healing. So,
Yes.
really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. All right, it's time for our wellness exercise. Please stay tuned. takes time, support, and understanding. And no one, of course, should go through it alone. We are always together and will always be with you. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Jane Izo. I wish you peace, strength, and better health. See you next time.
Good day, viewers at home. My name remains Dr. Aminu Abdullahi Abdulkarim, being the GM of Greenland Natural Medicine. Greenland Natural Medicine is a center for alternative therapy. We have them in different sections. Please don't forget, Greenland Natural Medicine, we have our specialists in different departments. When it comes to eye treatment, we have a specialist on eye. We come to your orthopedic issue, which we also have a specialist which will take care of your spine, take care of any kind of health challenges for you. Yes, for those who have eye problem is a serious problem, please. I find it very difficult for people who have eye-related issues to neglect their eye problems until it gets worse. Please don't do that. Just make sure once you notice any issue with your eye, or do your regular eye checkup, virtually 3 to 6 months every year. Just make sure you go for your visual test. It's very, very important to know much about your eye-related issues. We have a specialist all the way trained and very satisfied from India that will take care of that for you. He will tell you alternative way of taking care of different kind of eye problems. We have our certified equipment to use in taking care of the tests for you to know more about your eye problem, but we only use the alternative way in solving the problem. The normal way of testing it in the hospital is still the normal way we do here, but the only difference we have is we use the alternative medicine to take care of your eye problems. Starting with the glaucoma. The glaucoma is one of the eye diseases that affect the optic nerve, and the optic nerve is the one that sends the information straight to the brain. This very optic nerve has a lot to do. Yes, as you can see from here, this is the major optic nerve. This optic nerve is at the back, is the major nerves that supply straight to the brain, informations to the brain. And once this optic nerve has been damaged, it affects the visual aspect of your eye and gives the wrong information to the brain. If you are seeing something being yellow, you will be seeing it as if it's green. You can be seeing something white, but seeing it as if it's black. Please, you find it very difficult to even identify someone. Your close relationship is coming from distance, but you can't even identify his face until he comes closer to you and speak to you before you can say, oh, you are Mr. So. Please, these are part of the kind of challenges or symptoms you notice when you start losing up your vision. For those who have this kind of health challenges we call the glaucoma, please don't hesitate. You just try and visit us. Our doctors are available to attend to you virtually in all the branches. For the eye doctor, we have him as a visiting doctor to every state. Here, Abuja is the permanent office for him, but he visually visits Port Harcourt, visits Lagos and Oka, Akwa Ibom, and so on. For those with cataract, which is the common illness that also causes a lot in our eye problem. It's one of the eye diseases for those with pterygium, myopia, and so on and so forth. Any kind of eye problem, refractive error, and so on, please just give us a call. The eye doctor will be here to attend to you in the GV. For those with all these kind of health challenges, please don't hesitate to give us a call. And thank you, and remain blessed as you come.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Being prim and proper, giving attention to detail, making sure that as you are running activities, events, no detail is left unattended is some art that only takes that critical eye and that resilient and patient spirit to achieve. My guest today on Prime Woman is one such person that you need to see her profile and you will simply agree with me that indeed she is who we say she is, a prime woman.
You always achieve your best, siblings ever supporting, sharing you on. So, I think I've had an interesting, colorful life. Primary school in Lagos, secondary school in Shagamu, university in Lagos. I went to Unilag, studied economics, finished and did my NYC in a bank. Then proceeded to doing my master's in the UK. I came back from the UK and started working in the financial services sector. Transited after about 16 years, decided to explore my passion at that time, which was event management.
Wow. You talked about Shagamu.
Yes.
Lagos, Shagamu. Where Shagamu is in Ogun State.
Yes, I'm from Ogun State.
Oh, wow. So this secondary school in Shagamu, something, in me says it's one of those schools that the federal government provided.
Oh, yes. I went to Federal Government College. At that time, the federal government colleges were the best schools to go.
So, no, that songbird really whispered right.
Because it builds, it was a girls-only school. Builds resilience, hard work, it just builds a full woman.
Don't let me start feeling somehow. Because it takes one to know. Wow!
Which one did you go?
Yeah, Federal Government Girls College, Lanta.
Fantastic. That's in Plateau State. Absolutely, I know.
So
we know ourselves.
I think it just plays on that resilient spirit.
Yes.
So driving you with that thing that has been put in us, and you found yourself in the finance sector.
Services, yes.
I can bet something special came of it.
Well, I spent 16 years in treasury, investment banking. I eventually found myself in retail banking. That was my last stint. And then after that, I just thought, you know what? I really wanted to explore my entrepreneurial spirit. So I left and, started doing trading, consulting, events management, and eventually found myself coming up with You Feel Precious.
So this jewel, how did you dig it up?
Dig it. It's really digging. So, as I said, I ventured into, my passion was events management, ensuring that people are able to have the events of, seamless events end to end. It was a passion and I explored this, and of course it became a business. But in doing events, every space if you're having an event and you went into maybe a venue, and I just felt we could do better. Yes, a lot of people had set the foundation by creating lovely spaces, lovely event centers, but I felt we could improve. International standards required that we had, certain things in a venue, exits, multiplicity and ease of use of space. And so I kept desiring to create that. And I've divinely orchestrated the jewel I stand in today.
From financial sector to managing businesses, spaces, like putting things on ground to give comfort, to make people happy. What's the relationship?
The business I currently run, which is managing the Jewel Aida, an iconic facility, conferencing and experience center, multifunctional spaces where you can do anything. You